Hey everyone, I'm Bowkert English. If you've been following my YouTube channel for a while, you probably already know that I got band 9 in IELTS reading. And in today's video, I'm going through your actual comments, real questions, real struggles. A lot of you are stuck in the same band for months, sometimes for years. And honestly, not because you're not trying hard enough, it's because the strategy is all over the place. So today I want to break things down, what not to do, and more importantly, why. Now, some of the explanation in this video might feel a bit general, and that's intentional because every learner is different. But if you want to see exactly how I handle a real IELTS reading passage step by step, check out this playlist over here. And if you want to build your reading habit, but academic articles feel like a chore, this other playlist is literally where I read them out loud for you. Oh, and I also want to quickly mention a project I've been working on, which is Micro IELTS Reading. It's a website where I break down IELTS-style passages into short, focused sessions. So instead of sitting through a full test, you practice in smaller, smarter chunks. I'll drop the link in the description. Go check it out, especially if you feel like full-length tests are burning you out. All right, so let's get into the comments. Okay, so comments number 1 from this guy, which I can pronounce the name. I think your score increased because of your relaxing. So this one interesting, and I get where it's coming from, but the logic is actually, flipped. Think about it. Stress in IELTS reading doesn't come from nerves or emotions. It comes from confusions. You are reading a sentence, you don't understand the grammar, you don't know a few keywords, you can't figure out why the paragraph even exists. And at that point, panic just shows up on your own. Being relaxed does not cause a high reading score. Having strong reading skills is what makes you feel relaxed. There's a difference. Now, compare that to someone who's trained properly. They might not know every word, but they understand the structure. They see how ideas connect. They recognize when something is being paraphrased because the passage makes sense to them. Their brain stays calm. So, don't try to relax. First, build clarity first. Relaxation is the result, not the method. Okay, so um comment number 2. Thanks a lot. I struggle with reading band 6.5 all the time and don't know how to improve. My teacher and my sister said that I should read some more news, but I think it's boring. But with this method, I think I can both reading and taking notes, many useful vocabulary, so that I can achieve a better score. Hope that I will achieve a 7.58 band in the future. Okay, so this is generally one of the most common band 6.5 situations I see. Your teacher and your sister aren't wrong, but the advice is incomplete. The real problem isn't what you read, it's how you read. Myself included at some point. Read news articles like this, start to finish, get the general idea and move on. That's normal reading. And it's fine if you're still building your basic reading foundation, but that's not IELTS reading. IELTS reading is specifically testing whether you can spot cause and effect relationships, follow the logical developments of ideas, and especially recognize paraphrases. Like a passage might say, the population increased sharply. Then, a few lines later, this rapid growth created pressure on resources. IELTS wants you to know if you caught that increased sharply and rapid growth are saying the same thing. So if you're not stopping and thinking, wait, these two sentences are the same idea, just worded differently, then you're missing the whole point of the test. So passive reading won't get you there. Read actively. Stop and ask, why is this sentence there? Try paraphrasing as you go. That's when real improvement starts. So comment number 3. And how to pick articles to read based on what? There are massive amount of articles. Great question and a very practical one. You're right. There are way too many articles out there. So the answer isn't reading more, it's reading smarter, being selective. You want articles that look and feel like actual IELTS passages. And IELTS passages have a pretty specific style, factual, academic in tone, neutral, no emotions, no strong opinions. They usually explain a process, analyze a phenomenon, compare different theories, or describe cause and effects. That's why topics like climate change, animal behavior, psychology experiments, science and technology, or historical analysis tend to work really well. Now, what to avoid and why? Don't pick articles just because they're trending, or emotional, motivational, or entertaining. Because IELTS passages aren't written to entertain you, they are written to make you process information. For example, an article said why octopuses are smarter than we think is exactly the right kind of thing. Factual, explanatory, logical. But let's say another article, Top 10 Habits of Successful People. You can read that for your personal growth, for sure, but it's opinion based and not at all what IELTS is testing you. Simple rule. If an article feels dry but logical, that's a good sign. And if it feels exciting and emotional, it's probably bad for IELTS experience. Okay, so comment number 4 from Nguyễn Phú Phát. This one is in Vietnamese. I used to think reading was just about tips and tricks to reach 6.5 plus until I truly sat down and deeply analyzed a test. There's no secret. What matters is how much time you spend truly understanding and immersing yourself in the test. Spending time analyzing vocabulary and grammar, creating examples and pronunciation is the best approach in my opinion. Reading is not difficult, but it requires a lot of time and self-study. This comment is completely on the point and explains why so many students hit a wall. Tips and tricks have their places. They can help you manage your time or avoid traps, but they cannot replace actual understanding. Here's the thing. From band 7 upward, trick just stop working. At that level, IELTS will give you two answer choices that both look correct. One has a subtle difference in meaning. Another has a hidden condition or limitation. No trick in the world can resolve that. Only real comprehension, grammar, logic, meaning can. Think of it this way. Tricks help you survive the test. Skills are what you make you score high. IELTS reading is demanding because it requires patience and deep thinking. There's no shortcut around that. So comment number 5. This one is also in Vietnamese. That's great. I want to ask, when you do IELTS reading, do you look for keywords, skim and scan, or do you read the whole passage first and then answer the questions? This one comes up a lot, and I think the confusion is that people treat skimming, scanning, and reading as opposites. They are not. Here's how I actually do it. So first, I skip the passage, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, just for the overall picture. I'm not translating word by word. I'm not trying to memorize anything. Just getting a feel for what the passage is about. Then, when I answer questions, I rely on fixed keywords, proper nouns, dates, numbers, things that can't be paraphrased, to scan back to the right part of the passage. And from there, it's about paraphrase, matching, and actual comprehension. You are not going to get a band 7 plus by scanning alone. So skimming and scanning are tools. They're not a strategy by themselves. You still need real reading ability underneath. Otherwise, you're just running your eyes over the test without actually understanding anything. Okay, so comment number 6. I have problems with concentration. Honestly, this is rarely a language problem, almost always is a training problem. A lot of students train like this. Full late tests, long hours, no clear goal. And what that actually trains is fatigue, not concentration. Concentration improves when the task feels manageable, the goal is clear, and you can actually tell whether you succeeded or not. So instead of forcing yourself through 3 hours session, try one passage, short time, full focus. That's real concentration training. And one more thing, stay away from your phone. I know, obvious advice, but if you want to understand why it matters on a deeper level, search prefrontal cortex on YouTube or Google. It'll make a lot of sense. If you feel a full-length task are too challenging, too time wasting, you could try out my project, Micro IELTS Reading. That's the reason why I made the project Practice IELTS Reading whenever you are free. So comment number 7. Thank you so much. I would like to ask you, do you recommend practice with IELTS online test website that you showed on the video? Some people say it is much harder and structure is different from an actual exam test. So both sides are actually correct right here. Some online tests are harder than the real thing. Some have inconsistent quality, so the rule I follow is pretty simple. Cambridge IELTS books are for measuring your actual level. They are as close to the real exam as it gets. Online tests are for building endurance and getting more exposure. So don't use online tests to judge your band score. Use them to practice working under pressure. Okay, now comment number 8. I asked ChatGPT to give me two C1 and C2 vocabularies respectively every day, but I always wonder if it's good or not. Okay, so it feels productive. I get it, but it's actually not very efficient. Vocabulary sticks when it appears in context, when it helps you understand something, when it connects to a real idea. And a random list of C1 and C2 words doesn't give you any of that. For example, you can learn actively through reading English books because the words are placed inside a context. So that's where real comprehension be, right? IELTS reading doesn't test how advanced your vocabulary is. It tests whether you can recognize the meaning when it's paraphrased, which is a completely different skill. I've seen students who spend every day drilling C1, C2 words and still can't fully follow a B1 level article. Comment number 9. This one in Vietnamese. When learning vocabulary from news articles, do we need to learn every word we don't know? Some words seem rarely used. No. And honestly, trying to learn every unknown word is more harmful than helpful. IELTS doesn't reward rare, hyper-technical vocabulary. Focus on words that repeat across tests, words that connect ideas, words that signal cause and effect or contrast. Skip words that name a very specific object, appear once, and never come back. Smart selection beats hard memorization every time. Okay, so comment number 10. In IELTS reading, I struggle because passages contain too many new words. When I'm trying to learn vocabulary, I don't know where to start. Do you have any advice? The issue isn't that you don't know enough words. It's that you're not prioritizing the right ones. Start with words that are actually blocking your understanding of the paragraph, words that are central to the main idea. Words that keep showing up, everything else, at least for now, can wait. Trying to learn every unknown word leads to overload. Learning what actually matters leads to progress. Comment 11. How many hours in a day do you read? Honestly, hours is the wrong question. The right question is, can I explain what I just read in my own words? If yes, that was a good practice. If no, spending more time won't change much. So instead of trying, I'll read for 4 hours or I'll do 4 IELTS tests today. Try, I'll fully understand one article today. Quality over quantity always. Comment 12. Really appreciate it. I have a question. How many articles should we read daily to get a high band? And I'm really bad at reading, so I don't know how to choose articles that are relevant to the IELTS. I hope to receive an answer from you, and I'm devastated about reading progress. When you feel devastated, it usually means you've realized that guessing your way through it isn't working anymore. That's not failure. That's actually awareness. And awareness is where real progress starts. Stop counting articles. Count understanding instead. One well-read article a day is generally enough if you're actually engaging with it. And honestly, the thing that sustains long-term progress more than anything else is finding a way to enjoy the process. That applies to reading and pretty much everything else in life. All right, that's it for today's Q&A. If you're still stuck at band 6 to 6.5, or you feel like you are putting in the hours, but your reading just isn't moving, I want you to do one thing. Stop chasing random topics. Stop chasing random tips. Start building real reading ability. If vocabulary and comprehension are your main issues, go to my Read With Me playlist. I read real articles with you, sentence by sentence, and there's a free vocabulary PDF in every video. So you are learning words in context, not in isolation. If your problem is more about speed, stamina, and exam pressure, go to my IELTS Reading With Me playlist. I do 4 tests there. No cuts, no shortcuts. Exactly how the real exam feels. You'll see how I read, how I think, and how I handle difficult passages in real time. And if you haven't already, check out Micro IELTS Reading. The link is in the description. It's a website I built for exactly this kind of situation. Short, focused reading, short, focused sessions based on IELTS-style passages so you can train without burning out on full-length tests every day. You don't need more tricks. You need exposure, consistency, and the right method. Pick the resource that fits your problem. Start from video 1 and actually follow along. Don't just watch passively. And if you still have questions about IELTS reading, drop them in the comments. I read through all of them and I'll answer the most common ones in the next video. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.